Okay, so this is my week 5 monologue. Um, so just then it was following on from my lab then which I had Monday this week. Just prior to my lab I received feedback on the previous week's monologue. So just kind of going through that then. It was looking at my approach that I took to craft and just the need to really research more into that in the context of processing and then select an idea rather than just vaguely kind of just brushing on the surface, which was what I was doing. Um, then going on to that, then we had investigate process material best optimal. So I just kind of focused on the two artifacts that I was using, the recycled materials I was using, and using that as my kind of design rather than the need. Um, so as a result, then I kind of just went back and kind of re-examined my need more so. So as I kind of stressed before, my problem statement it was design an aid for an elderly person living with dementia. And I'd done a bit of research before, and we found that there was no real kind of products available in the market as such that could be manufactured. What the only thing they have was assistive technology and things like that. So we kind of further looked into this on the website here, Dementia Understand Together. What they kind of had was this idea of memory clinics. Once again, this is not something that that I can necessarily manufacture or meet the needs of, but just give me an idea of what it is that can be done for this disease. And likewise, then it's just a technology. Although this is not something that you can necessarily manufacture technology, I thought I could take inspiration from it and try and link it back to the design and make part of construction studies. And so some of the examples then that they include is memory aids. So like medication reminders, voice recorders, things like that. Orientation aids, electronic clocks that help keep track of time. Safety devices, communication aids, other devices, so easy to use TV, remote controls, etc. And then from this then I actually phoned my auntie during the week who was a nurse who was cared for my granddad who had Alzheimer's and also a neighbour at the moment, so she does care for him, and she just kind of stressed the importance of repetition as an aid for an elderly person, anybody necessarily living with Alzheimer's. And the idea behind it is that they can have the same um, repetition of every day, which is kind of the only real physical aid that they can make aid of when living with this disease. So the notion that they have the same place to put their same items every day, so like a uniform or like a very structured um, daily kind of layout for them, whether it be taking medication, um, where they store items, things like that. She just said it's emphasis of having the same thing put in the same place. So whether it be a remote control or whatever it was, she just kind of said the importance of repetition. So going on to that then, I suppose just addressing the next point of my feedback was he discovered the problem in depth. So it was an initial idea based on material or the problem. So I suppose what's being meant by that is that I'm designing my ideas off the material rather than fitting the need. Then I suppose just addressing that is also that the problem statement where the design relies on sustainable creative craft which contributes towards addressing a real world social problem and an environmental issue. So for me, that kind of 50-50, as in the environmental issue is kind of 50% of the project, but also they have to address the real problem 50-50. So not necessarily that it's an equal weighting, but it's just that for me, the material I use is going to have some sort of impact in my design ideas, and so that's just kind of the approach I was taking. So that was just to kind of address that. My problem statement, update my problem statement, so design and create an artifact. Day now the person living with Alzheimer's incorporating recycled material. So that's kind of re-emphasizing this environmental issue, as well as also knowing that the environmental issue is also a social issue. Okay, so that's kind of my rationale for that. And then back to the OECD, in that I had to kind of go back and I kind of used this from week 4. There was a document there as well, just to kind of go back and look at the needs rather than just kind of designing based purely on the material. So like what I said then was repetition. They need that to have the same thing, they can put something in the same place every time. Um, and I even noticed at home that something like that is similar. So inquiring, imagining, doing, reflecting. So I suppose week 4 there this week, or sorry, week 5 labs this week Monday, we kind of use pair work and things like that for redesigning our ideas. So I use Dieter Rams principles of design, things like that. And so my initial idea that I went into the lab, but I actually came out with something completely different. Just through my own kind of thinking, and I think, and also then the opinions of my peers. So just to remind you then of the material I have access to at the moment, this headboard and the pew here. Like I mentioned before, and the history behind it, which I've done a bit of research on, came out of a church in Loughlin, County Laois, and it was going to be put to waste basically. And I just thought that the ornamentation is lovely. So then, as I said, in this week's labs we went in, and what I came out then was this idea of a hall stand, so that every person living with dementia could have their telephone, things like that there. That's easy to access. It's all in the same place. And likewise, then they're coming, entering, and leaving their home, but they have a place to put their belongings. So either be personal or valuable items, things like that. And then this just allows them for the use of my headboard. It's obviously the tabletop here, the legs here are taken off my pew here, as you can see, and because they're quite short, I might have to add material to it or make a feature out of them. And likewise, then the back two legs would be two legs of my headboard here. So I'll be kind of chopping up with this just to use the design of it and incorporate that into the detail and molding here of my piece. So yeah, that's my monologue for week 5. Thank you.